Hello, I'm the new video of Dynasty, and today I'm gonna go over what you should do in your early game. What is the early game? So I'll first define what early game means. Early game probably means before level 80, before you have any 7-star hero, well, four of them. So you're still using 6-star hero and trying to get your 7-star. Um, and that's the part where I'm going to talk about. Now, this might not be suitable for everyone because not every player plays the same. Some people recharge, some people only focus on offense. And for me, for this video, I'm going to talk about casual players. You're not recharging, or you're not recharging a lot. You focus on everything. You don't just go offense, upgrade your headquarter, and then get as much heroes as possible, and then get your 7-star hero. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just playing casually. Um, Before level 80, before you have four 7-star hero, or maybe you're around headquarter 10, headquarter 11, it doesn't really matter as much in terms of what your headquarter level is. Actually, it doesn't even matter what your level is, but this is just a range of players or range of levels where you may fit, and this is what you should be doing, or this is what you should not be doing as well. So I'm gonna cover a couple things. Mostly, actually, I'm gonna cover a lot of things um, in this video, but I'll separate them into. Well, I'm gonna tell you what topic I'm talking about, and I'll go over a little bit of each. And if you have questions, leave it in the comment, and then let me know. I'll answer it. If I have a lot of questions, I'll make another video to answer this. Yeah, so let's start with, well, I'm gonna go over buildings, what buildings to upgrade. I did have a video about that, like a playlist about that, but I'll go over a little bit more. I guess I'll go over a little bit in this video. And then what troops you should upgrade, and then what heroes you should get, or what you should do with the heroes. And then you have the treasures and hero seals. Should you focus on that, or maybe you should just leave it alone? And then I'll talk about resource. So there are 6 things I'll talk about: buildings, troops, heroes, treasures, hero seals, and other resources. Now the first thing is buildings. So in terms of building, what you should do is you should always focus on resource buildings and the offensive buildings. So your army, your barracks, your army camp, and the academy. These are the 3 things that you should focus on. You could level up your alliance camp as well, because you can get up to 40 right now, 40 troops from 40 units from there. And if you have strong alliance members, they can give you very strong tiger warriors or alchemists to help you fight in your battle or defend your base. So obviously you would upgrade accordingly. Maybe this account is a very bad demonstration because all these buildings are very low level. You shouldn't want to do this. You should upgrade them accordingly. And as I said, I had a playlist about which to upgrade. It's pretty simple. For every headquarter level you upgrade, you should max out a couple of the buildings. You should max out the most valuable buildings. So before you have the Frost Chamber, before you have the Purgatory Tower, you want to max out the Thunder Formation that you have. Before the Thunder Formation, honestly, I'll just go with, I guess, the... it doesn't really matter, I guess. Maybe the Alchemist Tower or the Catapult. These are the things that you want to max out. And then once you get your Thunder Formation, max out your Thunder Formation, and then upgrade your headquarter, then max your Magic Crossbow, your Purgatory Tower, and then obviously, and then you get your Frost Chamber. So it's kind of like that. But you will have more than one craftsman. Yeah, obviously you always have 2. And you probably would have gotten up to 5 or at least 4 if you seriously playing it, because they're not that expensive, given that you can easily get a lot of ingots in this game. Although you do need a lot of ingots, but obviously the earlier you invest in your craftsmen, the better the deal is, because you can use them for more stuff and build more stuff. So maybe like 2 on, because a couple of things you have to always do first is the storage. You have to do the storage before you can do anything else, because you will not have enough maximum storage to save up resource to upgrade certain things. For example, this Purgatory Tower, it needs whatever this is, 24 million, I guess, 24 million gold, and my storage is only 22 million, so I can't do that. And the first thing is you always want to do these first, and then you do your generators, so your market, your farmland, and then your gem shop. So because the earlier you do this, you get more benefit, you get more resource in the long run. So you should do that. Other than that, you don't really need to. Well, what you don't really need to do a lot is maybe the platform, the the Delicate Tower, the Imperial College, the Defense Academy. These are the things that you don't necessarily need to upgrade, and not all defensive structures you need to upgrade. So, for example, Dragon Canyon, you don't really need to get it up to too high of a level. Alchemist Tower, again, it gets, because those things get really expensive after a couple of level. You can't really afford it. Once you get Advanced Barracks, you might want to upgrade it once or twice and see if you want to try these troops out. But you want to upgrade your barracks actually to level 10, not just level 8. You want to do it to level 8 as soon as possible, because you can make healers to donate to your Alliance War, and you can use it yourself too. So for after you get your basic resource, basic storage, and maybe one or two craftsmen working on resource building, and then one or two on the defense, you might want to put one on army camp. You want to get it to level 8 as soon as possible, so you can have 60 per camp and 240 troops in total. And then you want to go for your barracks, so you can have more troops, and the academy, so that you can level up the troops. This is very simple, I guess. But now that we finished talking about buildings, we're going to talk about troops. So I talk about upgrading your barracks and getting your academy so you can level up your troops. So which troops should you focus? And there's a couple. Okay, before you are really heavily invest into the stronger troops, you have the archers, which you use a lot, which you probably have a high level anyways, your highest level. And then you have heavy cavalry that are also very useful, and alchemists. You really would depend on these three. They are basically your archers, your balance troops, your heavy cavalry is your tanky troops, your alchemists is your damage troops. You will use those, and you will continue to use these three in your game. You might need to use healers if your combinations require healers, and you need to level them up as well. After that, what should you focus? Now, there's two type of troops, two category troops. One is the tankier troops and one is the damage troops. Because heavy cavalry will not be tanky enough in the long run, so you need to start investing in other troops. For example, your first choice is Tiger Warrior. You might want to do that. And your other choice is the Fighting Elephant or the Wallbreaker. So I think this used to call like rushing carts or something. Now it's called Wallbreaker. Yeah, they are high damaging as well as a lot of HP. Actually, the Wallbreaker has a lot of damage and HP, but it takes 15 housing space. The Fighting Elephant has very little DPS, but a lot of HP, but less housing space. And then the Tiger Warrior is actually 10 housing space, decent damage and decent HP. These are really good for later game, for your late game when you need to tank as well as doing damage. So that's the first category of troops that you might want to consider for tanking. Now the other one is a more damaging and maybe more useful troops in terms of having a lot of them, because you can't really have a lot of Hyrule Warriors or Fighting Elephant or the Wallbreaker. What you can do is you might want to invest in the Bow Cavalry or the Dragon Guard, and you probably need to choose upgrade your advanced barracks couple level and try them out before you invest in them, because they do cost a lot. So what the bad thing is, don't do what I did in here, which is level them up equally, because you won't have enough resource. Now in this account, I don't really play, so I don't care. I can just let them sit here and farm beads and upgrade them. But you will need your beads, so make sure you only choose one to focus on, and at least max that out first, and then that will be a very, very strong, very useful troops for you to use. Because I do recommend upgrading advanced troops first, because you don't really need the beads in this time of the game. You only have a couple 7-star, and they're not awakened yet. You don't have to rush to awaken them, so you don't have to rush to 10 out of 10. And even if you get to 10 out of 10, what happens is you will have beads that you can't use because you don't have a lot of 7-star hero. So when you have beats, you want to invest in the troops earlier because later you can have a lot of 7-star, and then you're gonna have a weakened hero, and then you need to save for awakening. Then you need to use a lot of beats, and then you won't have the time, or you won't have the resource to invest in your troops. So that's my suggestion. Always focus on one type of troop, and then max that out first. And then the next thing is heroes. I'm going to talk about heroes. First thing is unparalleled heroes. Unparalleled heroes, if you only have like 3 or 4 or 7-star, unless you're very lucky, you will not have a unparalleled hero, because it does depend on your luck to see if you can get it. So what should be your first choice? So there are 2 unparalleled hero that could be your first choice. It used to be Zhuge very good, because I mean it's still pretty good right now. It's basically a passive hero that can attack and defend, and good for everything. There's nothing wrong with him. Very easy to use. Partnerships relatively easy to satisfy. As you play along, you should be able to get him. The partnerships. And then the other hero, the second hero that you could pick as your first choice is Heroine, because her ability is very strong. It's easy for you to loot beads, coins, and grains in your early game when you're not that strong, because of the range and attack speed. And it also increases archers, the damage for archers. And at this point, you'll use archers a lot. So she's another good hero to get first. And I think these are the only 2 heroes that I would suggest getting first, or even first and second if you want. And then obviously once you get your your unparalleled hero, you would want to awaken him or her as soon as possible. Now, the other things is, for example, when you go for Zhuge Liang, obviously you want to go for the destinies, the partnerships as well. And for example, you need Pang Tong and Sima Yi. Now, I wouldn't suggest just regenning hero to try to get common 7-star, so that you can fulfill a partnership. However, partnerships are important. So whoever your next hero is, make sure you look at the destiny or partnerships to see if you can get the most out of it. And how will you do this? Well, what you can do is, for example, you're regenning Zhuge Liang and you don't have Pang Tong or Sima Yi. And when you regen, if you see them, stop. Level them up first. Just give them, I think 300 war scrolls or something like that. Level them up to level 50, and if you don't want them, use them to regen again. So that's a way to help you save regen order at a later point, because it's really wasteful to keep regenning for non-unparalleled hero. And that goes with 5 and 6-star hero as well. So let's say if you're missing certain 5-star and 6-star heroes and you want, I wouldn't really recommend regenning them because it's really difficult to get it. You can wait for the event that says, oh, you have extra chance to do that. And at that point, you can combine heroes instead of regenning, because regenning 6-star and 5-star hero does cost ingots as well. Now, if you get the 5-star regen order or the 6-star regen order, then obviously you can use that at any point. But if you have to pay ingots for it or amulet for it, don't do that. Just casually they will come eventually. And the next thing is, when you upgrade your heroes, well, I can't show you right now, but what I do is I feed 1 star to my 5-star, I feed 2 stars to my 6 stars, and then I feed 3 stars to my 7-star, and then I feed 4-star hero to my awakened hero. So this way you can manage your heroes as resource better, easier. So you can I guess it's just better for you to manage it like that. Then you wouldn't be wasting hero or wasting resource when you're trying to feed like a 1-star to a 7-star, because the percentage is 2%, which is very low. So that's another that's what I mean by managing your hero as resource. So the next thing to talk about is treasure. So you will be doing the government affair in the Delicate Tower. You level this tower. Yeah, maybe you should do it earlier so you can get more execution, free attempts to do these. And you'll do it, and you'll save up treasure shard. In the beginning, you might want to combine some orange treasure, but after a while, you don't really want to do that anymore because it's useless. You should only save for gold treasure shard and make golden treasure. And I would not suggest you splitting gold treasure because when you only have a couple, yes, you may be looking for a certain treasure, but my suggestion is you don't really need to go for it in the early game. It's not really that big of a difference. It's not gonna help you a lot. If you have something that fits you, great, you can use it. If you don't, then don't try to force it. If you try to force it, it's probably not gonna happen, and you're gonna lose a lot of resource for nothing. Just save the treasure. Maybe you use it one day. If it's for hero, great. If it's for buildings, if it's for troops, maybe that will be your deciding factor to see, okay, so this is the building that I want to invest in. This is the troops that I want to invest in. And you don't really want to recast a lot because the effect is not going to be huge to your troops or heroes or buildings. Just keep them for now. And next thing is Hero Seal. Again, Hero Seal, you cannot force it. What you can do is, well, just do the gold breaks, do the territory stuff, keep getting them, and the ones that you don't need, just destroy them, get the emblem. Obviously, ultimately, you want to have the red Hero Seal, and honestly, Hero Seal is a little bit different. You don't really waste your in-game, like your main game resource. You only waste your territory resource, so you can refine it any point you want. You only use emblems, and you only use the reputation that you only get from the territory, and you only use it for territory. So you're not wasting anything if you're just investing the same thing into here, because you can't waste resource onto Hero Seal. You only use resource on the platform, and you can change the seal any point. So, but again, you don't have to try to go obtain a lot of Hero Seal with the ingots. The chance is you're probably not going to get the one that you really want. So just take it slow, and eventually you will get it. So the next thing is resource. All the resource, what should you do? So the first resource and the most important resource is ingots. You should not be spending your ingots like doing silly stuff, meaning speeding up things or buying resource. Although I do suggest, well, not anymore, okay, but I'll still tell you, the only time that you want to use your ingots to buy resources is during the event, where you can have, does it have it here? We don't have it this week. It's the only time when you're giving 20% from buying resource. But now that you can actually now that they give you more resource, you don't have to do that. Always save your ingots. And what do you do with ingots? Well, you do your daily thing. Do your daily alliance donation. Do your alliance war donation, maximum donation slots. Things like that you need to use. Those don't cost you a lot. But anything else that are extra, you don't have to use it on. You wait until the God of War event and exchange it all to amulets. So what do you use so now that you have amulets, or now that you save up amulets, what do you do? So the Mystic Shop, you can use amulets, and honestly, the only thing that I'll exchange for is the 7-star regen order in here, which is not here at the moment. You can wait for it. Don't do the refresh because it costs you ingots to refresh, I think. So you can wait for 7-star regen order and exchange 7-star regen order, unless you're planning to go for a 777 amulet hero, and I don't suggest that in your early game, because even if you have them and you don't have other 7-star to work with it, it doesn't really work. So again, save your Hero Seal, purple and red seal. You can save those. You don't need them. You don't need to bother with them that much. And then what other stuff? So the dust and the gold treasure, I talked about it a little bit earlier. These dust you will eventually accumulate a lot, and you will use them. And you use a lot of them when you really want to make really good treasure. So you don't really have to care so much about them, just let them accumulate. The next thing is Soulstone and Transcend Stone. You don't need them now, but you will need a lot of them now. So again, you don't have to go out of your way to get it. Just let them accumulate in your inbox or in your headquarters. You will need a lot of them very quickly. Because once you get to your mid game, your late game ish, you use a lot of these stuff, and you run out of it very quickly. And what you'll be lacking is probably Hero Soul and War Scroll. But there's nothing you can do about it. If you play the game every day and do most of the things, you will get a lot of them. But early on, you want to level up your hero, so you use a lot of world gold. You want to upgrade your skill, so you use a lot of hero seal. And the best way to do is just play the game and you will get it. Don't try to buy it. Eventually, you will have a lot of these things that are sitting here and doing nothing. And then the next thing to talk about is the prestige. So what you do with the prestige is, again, if you just play the game and do the alliance stuff, you have a lot of prestige. You spend the prestige at the prestige shop. Right now, I will buy Soul Stone and Transcend Stone, but for you guys who are early game, you don't really need any of these things. What you want to buy is buy the Soul Jade, because once you awaken a hero, you will need the Soul Jade. You will need a lot of the Soul Jade to get the awakening skill, because by the time you awaken your hero, you probably have enough Soul Stone to awaken 2 or 3 heroes, and after that, you want to upgrade their awakening skill depending on which hero it is. So you will need the Soul Jade, which are more difficult to get, and you can spend it on the Soul Jade, and then maybe Soul Stone, and then Transcend Stone. But other than that, the Trick Essence and Gold Treasure Shard, you don't need it. So yeah, the Trick Essence I didn't really talk about because I don't think this is an early game thing, which is the Imperial College, which is the thing that I said don't upgrade it yet. But this is basically the things that you should focus on in your early game. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be working on the next video, which would be your mid game, and then we'll talk about a little bit more of the a little bit more advanced stuff. But yeah, let me know if you want to know more detail about the things that I talk about in this video, and I can answer that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.